We are going to be diving into common wholesaling questions and myths today. I see so many questions and um, just common myths and fears that hold people back from really diving in and putting their products out there and pitching their products to retailers. So, we're actually going to talk about those today and address some of the more common myths that I see. So, I am going to talk through those. And then, of course, if you have a question, as you can see, Dino's put down there, you can certainly put hashtag question in the comments section, and we will definitely get to those and I can address those. This won't be a full hour today, but we will absolutely take questions for sure. So, welcome, Angel. Welcome, Consuelo. Glad you guys are here. Drop where you're watching from today. And drop where you're watching from. I know Consuelo is in New Mexico, unless she's traveling somewhere, but I know she is in New Mexico. So drop where you're watching from. I am currently in North Carolina, soon to be Arkansas after my move in a few weeks. So I'm excited about that. Okay, let's dive on in and everyone else can catch the replay. So I'm actually not going to be sharing a screen today. We're just going to be chatting and talking. So, like I said, I have my phone in front of me. So make sure you put hashtag question if you have a question, because I probably venture to guess y'all will have questions as we chat through common myths and questions about wholesaling. So, absolutely feel free to bring your questions forward, especially as I move through some of these. So, one of the first myths that I see so often is that you cannot sell wholesale and direct to consumer at the same time. Or maybe a better way to put this is that you have to go all in on wholesale and that your retailers do not like to see you selling your products direct to consumer on your website as well. That could not be further from the truth. Let's talk through what the reality of that looks like. You can absolutely balance selling wholesale and direct to consumer at the same time. What you do not want to do is to sell your on your website lower than your recommended retail price. So let's say you put out there that your MSRP to a recommended retailer, let's say it's $20, and then you're selling it at $18. That is not really an ethical or an integrity based way to do business. So if you are recommending that a retailer sell your product at $20, you want to sell your product at $20 too. And I am all about teaching how to do business with integrity. And that is how you can do wholesale and direct to consumer and value-based integrity way to do it. And that's what your retailers will expect you to do it as well. So you absolutely can have a great strategy for selling in both channels. Um, I venture to guess, like a lot of my clients, once you start wholesaling, you will see wholesale really start to expand. And as we'll talk about here in a minute, you will see really the value in economies of scale. And you'll really start to put more of your strategy towards wholesaling. But you really just want to make sure that your direct to consumer pricing structure doesn't undercut your retailers. So they can absolutely both coexist. So welcome, Chandra. Welcome, Kamali. Welcome, Krista. Welcome, Sherry, AKA Mama. That's my mama. Okay, number two, you need a huge inventory to start wholesaling. I hear this a lot too. It's actually one of those fears that holds a lot of product makers back from jumping into wholesaling. And so I see a lot of product makers think, I've really got to scale and have a massive stockpile of products, and I need to have this big inventory plan. And you really do not need to have a stockpile. And I actually would not suggest that you have a stockpile of products. You can start wholesaling and just produce with smaller batches. What is important is that you want to have the capacity to scale. And I teach you how to hire and how to be able to scale at your pace. And that's another scary thing that a lot of product makers think is, I don't want to scale too quickly, or I don't want to scale to the point where this is a full-time job and it's taken me away from my family. Hey, I totally get that. When I started wholesaling, I still had a full-time corporate sales job that was more than 40 hours a week. And I was coming home and then working on my candle business. And this was all out of my home. And so I quickly hired next door neighbor. I hired someone from church. And so I can teach you how to scale at your pace. But all that to be said is, you don't need a stockpile of products. That inventory actually cost you in tax returns at the end of the year. And so I'm not a tax professional. I won't go into that, but you just want to have the ability to scale at your pace. And so you want to understand, um, and have a roadmap for that. But you can absolutely produce in smaller batches. So even if you do not have a facility in mind where you want to branch into, that's okay. If you're doing this in your home, that is where I started. And that is a great place to start wholesaling. So you do not need to have a huge inventory. You can start in your home. It's a great place to start. Highly recommend it. Just a reminder, put hashtag question if you have a question. I'm happy to answer those as we move through these. Next myth or common question is, oh, this might be my favorite. I hear this all the time, and I would love you to just drop a, like, raise your hand if you're brave enough, because I will be honest, this was like my biggest hesitation as I started to get into wholesaling. But I'm going to walk you through this and actually explain this. The question, or like the fear, is that you have to lower your prices too much or give up too much of your profit when you go into wholesaling. How many people have had this fear? Like, admit it. I'm going to raise my hand because this was like a huge fear of mine. I will just like admit it right off. So anyone else, like in the comments, like just a big, big fear. So, yep. Ashley, welcome. She says, yes, that's a big one. Welcome, Sue. So the question is, for those just joining, the fear or the myth, the common myth about wholesaling is you have to lower your prices or you don't make as much profit when you start wholesaling. So let's walk through this. And while, yes, your wholesale prices are lower than if you sell direct to consumer, you should absolutely, if you do your pricing right, you ensure that you still have enough profit. And this is one of the first things that I work with with my clients is a profit analysis of their products. And that's one of the amazing things when you do get into wholesaling is you can start really buying in bulk. And that is one of the benefits of economies of scale. What do I mean by economies of scale? Well, let's talk through that. When you are really manufacturing more at scale, um, anyone knows, you probably have started, if you're a candle maker, you start buying your fragrance oils in like those 16-ounce bottles. I am now buying them in like 25, 50 gallon barrels, right? And so I have reduced my cost of fragrance oil more than half from when I first started. So my cost of each of my candles is significantly lower than when I first started making my candles. And so my cost to produce a candle is significantly lower. Now, when I am wholesaling my candle, every retailer is going to expect to be able to mark up a candle at least double what they are paying wholesale for it. Now, there's kind of a myth out there with wholesaling that you take your cost of goods, you double that, and that's what you wholesale it for. And then you double that, and that's your suggested retail price. Now, for the sake of ease, I'm going to use that example to show you economies of scale and the benefits of wholesaling. But that is not the recommended pricing structure that I teach. It's one consideration, but it's not the only pricing structure that I teach. If that's all you go by, you leave massive profit on the table. If that is all I went by, I would be leaving massive profit on the table every single day. For the sake of ease, I'm going to use that example today, but let's assume that you have a candle that costs you $5 to make. Everyone with me? $5 candle. And you can sell that candle for $20 to a consumer, a single candle for $20. And if you start to wholesale that candle, you're going to sell it for $10, right? So half of that. And so I hear all the time, why would I want to wholesale my product and only make $5 profit when I can sell it direct to a consumer and make $15 profit? Everyone with me? That I hear that all the time. Wholesaling allows you to leverage economies of scale. Would you rather sell one single candle and make $15 of profit, or on a single wholesale order? So let's assume an average wholesale order, which my average wholesale orders are about $300, a $300 wholesale order, make $150 profit. So that is the kind of profit that you're talking about with the economies of scale, because you are moving products in bulk. So that is the difference. When you start wholesaling, you are leveraging economies of scale. Not only are you selling massive amounts of product, but you're also able to lower your cost of goods. You're also able, just think about the time that it takes you to package up one single order and ship it out, or to even acquire one single customer. But I also teach you how to leverage and build a relationship with a retailer and help them sell more of your product, so they're coming back and buying from you. I have retailers that buy from me every single month. So and if you listen to my live yesterday, when you acquire a customer and they continue, it costs so much less for you to continue to sell to a same customer over and over and over again. So huge, huge benefits to wholesaling on several different levels. I would love to know if that resonates with you, or if I need to clarify that a little bit more. But if that makes sense for you, of you are not giving away, yes, on a single product level, if you just look at it on a single product level, you're giving away profit, but you are absolutely leveraging economies of scale. So you have to look at it on a big level. So I drop your questions, hashtag questions. I'm going to go back at the end and answer all of your questions. So make sure that you drop your questions in there. Next question or myth about wholesaling. Putting your products on fair will immediately skyrocket your business. I hear this all the time. Andy, I am just going to put my products out there. I'm going to put a fair site together and then I'm going to start wholesaling. And I also hear a lot of people on like different Facebook groups, like product maker Facebook groups. I'm in a lot of candle maker groups, and they say, um, don't trust in fair. I don't recommend getting on fair. I don't teach how to sell on fair. Listen, you should absolutely leverage fair, and I teach you how to leverage it. But I also don't recommend leveraging or putting all of your wholesaling eggs in one basket. I have been in sales for 18 years now. And I absolutely, one of the things that I have learned in over 18 years of sales is you leverage every sales channel that you can, and you work smarter and not harder. However, if you think that just setting up a fair shop and just leaving it there, and that's all you have to do to get sales, that is a myth. So I absolutely recommend that you utilize FAIR to your advantage because it is a great platform, but you do have to work at it. So FAIR to me is a great visibility tool, and they are a great platform that will connect retailers to your brand. But there are things that you need to do to help the algorithm and to boost your visibility on that platform. And also some organic outreach to help drive the commissions down on that platform. So I always recommend doing organic outreach outside of Fair and adding retailers to your Fair direct link. Not only does Fair love to see that, and it helps boost your algorithm, but also you're help driving that 15% commission and getting rid of that fair 15% commission. So there's lots of different things that I teach that help boost your fair visibility and the fair algorithm, but also help you learn to not just rely on fair alone and really help you get out and really hunt for your retailers and not just solely rely on fair. Because what happens if fair goes down one day and you lost all of those retailer contacts? So never rely on one single channel. Absolutely. But you should always leverage everything that you have available to you. So, reminder, put hashtag question if you have any questions. Next one, myth or common question. It is hard to find retailers. I love this one too because it does take an effort to build wholesale partnerships and to find those relationships, but there are a ton of easy and great ways to find retailers, and you just got to get scrappy and find them. And I love to teach how to reach out via email. And many retailer, this is like one thing that us as product makers don't realize is that retailers, and this is me coming at it from a retailer perspective, we are looking for new brands, innovative brands. We are looking for you and cannot find the brands that we're looking for, even on the Fair platform, because the Fair algorithm, what they do is they put the same brands. They put the same brands in front of you all the time. And so I would love to have new innovative brands reach out to me more often, and rarely do they ever. And so that is what I love to teach, and how to find those brands that you reach out to and how to connect with them and how to follow up without that salesy feeling. So that there are a lot of great and easy ways to find retailers. The next one, next myth, we have two left. Common question is wholesaling is too complicated for small businesses. So it does take planning, but it's not that complex. And I think a lot of people think that they have to have it all figured out. But you can have some systems in place, and you don't even have to have like every system perfectly in place. There are still some systems that I don't even worry about because it's not worth the money to have in place. So you need clear pricing strategies. You need to have a good system for developing relationships with your retail partners, and you can scale as you grow. So that's one of those common myths and fears that I feel like hold product makers back from jumping into wholesale and really scaling their business. And you have just got to take action and dive in. And that's what I did. And I made a lot of mistakes along the way. And that's what I love to help product makers avoid those mistakes. But you've got to jump in and learn, and then you can scale as you grow too. The next one, last one, really kind of goes along with that, but wholesaling requires you to have everything perfect, all the perfect systems in place before you start. And that could not be further from the truth. So, inventory management, production processes, you do not have to wait until everything is perfect. And it is a learning process, and you will scale as you grow, and you will constantly refine those systems. And that is also part of what I love to teach, and also what my own candle business is constantly evolving as well. And so, as I mentioned yesterday, I just a short bit of time, because it is the fall season. We are heading into Black Friday. We are heading into market season. Have just for a short bit of time opened up my She Sells Wholesale course. Normally you apply to get in, and I opened it up and offered a last time purchase at this price with $100 pay in full bonus. So I will go over that here in just a minute, but I am going to go back and answer some of your questions. Okay. Consuelo, she said, at some point, if you raise your retail prices, do you contact your wholesalers to inform them? Consuelo, that is a great question. You will at some point raise your prices because naturally your cost of goods will go up. And so generally what I do is I keep in my email platform, I keep a list of my retailers, and you don't necessarily need to warn them, but I might do a last time buy at the current price. And then they will see on your wholesale catalog or on your fair site, if that's where they purchase from you, but they will see that your next season or your next collection, your prices are going up. And so you can offer them a last time buy. That's what I usually do as a courtesy. And then they will see that your prices are going up because your wholesale prices will usually go up with those as well. Next question. Drop hashtag question if you have a question. Caprice or Capri, I hope I pronounced that correctly. She asked, do you have a contract you like to go by when trying to wholesale to stores? Great question. I do utilize a contract when they are buying from me directly. I do have quite a few customers that buy from me directly, and I have a system set up on the back end of my Shopify system. I have an app that I utilize, and I make them sign a contract before they get access to utilizing it, and they have their own account and password that they can just log in and purchase. I do have them sign a contract and provide a copy of their reseller certificate. So I go through all of that and actually provide the tech tutorial for setting that up in the She Sells Wholesale course. And then if you utilize FAIR, though, FAIR takes care of all of the terms and conditions. So you don't have to have the contract in place if you're selling through fair. So hopefully that answered your question there.